Hello, 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 fearless, fabulous folks. How are you doing on this magnificent, marvelous Monday? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Listen. I am just so excited to come to you live today with this fierce and fearless, fabulous conversation I'm going to have with this amazing dynamic soul that I'm going to introduce to you in a second. But for those of you who don't know, I'm Carolyn Wilson. I'm the fearless magnified educator. And as you know, that I have this, as you see over here, right there, the fierce and fearless weight loss challenge. Oh my gosh, you guys just don't understand the magnitude of this challenge. This group that I have is growing, right? And it's people from all over the world. When I tell you it's worldwide support. So if I were to share with you just some of the milestones, but I can't because that means you have to come over into the group and you have to see what's going on in there yourself. Anyway, so but really seriously, some of the milestones are I featured last week. You saw that I featured Carolyn, another Carolyn Rowe, all the way from UK, from London. Let me put my chair up a little bit, from London. And she shared how she did the 7-day challenge and now she's doing the 30-day challenge. And she's noticed that she's had some weight loss in terms of inches, right? And that was just based on a pair of jeans that she could not fit. Then she was able to fit them and now she can zip them up. So milestones are milestones. We have so many different milestones that these women and now men are joining this group that are finding that in this time period that we found ourselves in, we have now gained more weight during this quarantine, during this time of just sitting still, just during this time of uncertainty. And even though we're out of it, but almost coming back in it, we're still not really happy with ourselves. And to be quite honest, if most of us were honest with ourselves, a lot of the stuff in the weight was already there prior to the quarantine. But that's neither here nor there. So, but what we're going to do is get us to a point where we can now change and shift our mindset, shift the way we see ourselves, and shift the way we present ourselves to the world. So when I found out about this young lady, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have you in this group. I have to have you in this group. So the group is on Facebook, and like I said, you can join it. It's Carolyn Wilson, Fierce and Fearless Weight Loss Challenge. Just that simple. Let me see if I can put the banner up so you can see where to go if you want to join the group. But in the meantime, I have this amazing woman that I want to talk about for just like 2 seconds before I bring her on, because I can't wait to have this conversation with her. Oh my gosh. So let me share with you Angela. So this is her transformation story. So, and I'm going to show some pictures in a second, but her transformation is phenomenal. When I tell you it's phenomenal, it's phenomenal. There's 2 different pictures that I'll post up when she was 25 and then another one when she was 40. So we're not even going to ask how old she is now because she looks stinking amazing. So we're just going to leave it at that. But she was a non-exerciser. I can relate to that. She was lost in her mom identity. Yeah, I can relate to that too. And she was living a state of irritation with herself and others around her. Yeah, I can relate to that. How about you? Though she was heavily involved in serving others through her religious community, that she wasn't in alignment with who she was meant to be. And I think a lot of us find ourselves in that predicament. So then there's another picture of her where she's 40. Once again, one at 25, one at 40, where she was at the World Championships in Spain. You guys, wait till y'all see this picture. Right before she took the race against the top 7 fastest women in the world at her age at the 400 meters. Man, I'm trying to tell you. So, but then over the years, she became an empowered woman who was full of joy, and her journey is intoxicating. And she's ecstatic. I love it. That word right there, ecstatic, to teach the tools and the secrets of personal development. And I can tell just when I talked with her the other day, she's full of zeal, full of it. Development to others and to give this gift of alignment and freedom to others. So she wants to share her journey so that way you will be able to do that as well. So I mean, I know I probably didn't give it any justice, and I see her cheesing backstage. She's just like, ah! So without further ado, and while she comes on, I'm going to pull these pictures up so she can talk about them while we're like looking at. I mean, when I see these pictures, I'm just like flabbergasted that this is the same person. But I want to introduce to you the amazing, the beautiful Angela Myers. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey everyone. Thank you for such a great introduction, Carolyn. I'm really excited to be here tonight.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much. So listen, I mean, tell everybody about you. Who was okay? Tell everybody about the Angela of yesterday. How about that?
The one from Inner 20s?
Yeah, the one that I read about that was stuck in momism and stuck in I don't know-ism and stuck in in Oz. You were in a different land.
I sure was. Absolutely. I think a lot of what happened is I was kind of living a role in my life that was kind of expected, or I felt that I should. I was raised in a conservative Mennonite family, which is very religious and a lot of rules and things you are and aren't allowed to do. And just kind of went through the motions of getting married and starting to have kids. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so feeling like that is something that I should do too. And then there was always this kind of growing sense inside of me that something just wasn't fitting. I didn't fit. I always felt when I went places or talked to other moms or at church that I just kind of didn't fit in there, and started paying attention to that. So when you feel like you're kind of living a life that you're not in love with, a lot of things that maybe work for other people don't work for you. And there's that growing sense of restlessness and irritation of like, what is my purpose here? Is this all that there is? I should be having a fulfilling and enjoyable time with these young children and getting to be a stay-at-home mom and serving my community and serving people at church. And, I have my health, but there's something missing. And that kind of restlessness is what started my whole journey. And it actually started, Carolyn, with a lot of the things you're doing with your group here. For me, it started first with a little physical transformation, meaning I was really unhappy with the way my body looked and felt and the way my clothes fit. I couldn't shed my baby weight. So a lot of this journey started with just those baby steps of starting to exercise. And at first, it was just 2 times a week I went to a boot camp. So that was me in my 20s with 3 little children, baby stepping to be like, I have to do something about feeling so miserable all the time. Let me just go to a boot camp twice a week. That's where it started. Are you still there?
I am still here. I was like, wait a minute, I was trying to find the tab. I was like, I could tell you were about to end. I was like, But no, no, I definitely can relate to that. And it's so interesting that that I am, it was like the opposite for me. So the weight stuff is at the end. So it's just so interesting how people take their journey is a path, right? And we can go many different routes. Right. We can go many different routes to get to one of the many destinations, because I think I like what I read somewhere in there. You said something about it's not necessarily the destination is pretty much, I forget what I read it somewhere.
Yes.
There was something you said about not really reaching a final destination, but pretty much going on the journey.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'll say, when I started my journey with, again, for me, it started with just 2 times a week going to boot camp. I had no idea. So in the process of letting that journey unfold, I ended up building a really successful fitness business and owning that for 10 years and winning awards for that. And then I went on to compete in track and field. But when I was that young mom, starting out just feeling yucky in who she was and how she looked and how she felt, I had no idea at that point in the journey where it would lead. I just was taking a step. And I think it's always easier when you just take those first steps for whether you say God or the universe or destiny. It's always easier to move a car that's already in motion, moving forward, to steer it rather than something that's parked and stuck. Can't do that. So any little action steps you start to take that start to bring you those little nuggets of joy and life and expansion, anytime you're moving in the direction of those things, it allows more. It opens things up, and you don't know where the rest is going to go.
You are so right. Now you talked about track and field. Like I want
Yeah.
you to, like, when did you make that transition? So from what I read in your bio, because you also have a book, right?
Yes, I wrote a book.
Living Young. And
Living Younger. Yes.
Living Younger. And it's about this transition. So when you were this 25-year-old in this state of who am I ism, right?
Yes.
Doing everything that I think that was mapped out for me.
Exactly.
But it was mapped out for me by not my higher power, not your higher power, but by everybody else's power.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Everybody else's influence, everybody else's expectation of you. So, and I think I read somewhere it was like a 12-year time period.
Yes. Hey, I'm still in it. And that's what the journey is. Like, you never arrive. It's like this, it's constantly evolving. Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
So in that time period, like, I guess, so what made you go? Because I think when we had this conversation before, you said you weren't athletic before at all.
No,
never did anything in high school. Never even, hit a kickball, for that matter.
No, in high school I was, shy, didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I played the clarinet. So, and I was focused on getting straight A's and, tried out for, some drama club for a little bit, but that's about it. I didn't realize that physical movement or exercise was a part of who I was. And that's what I love about my story is I think sometimes when people see people, getting in great shape or doing sports at an older age, they think that you have to have been athletic before. And there's probably so many of you listening to this, like, who knows what lies inside of you? That's the beauty and excitement of it. Like, who knows what's lying inside there? Because I certainly didn't know that was something that I was capable of.
Yeah. For people to see, because I'm just kind of like, when I saw this is what drew me to you. It was like, whoa. Like, explain it. Explain it. Right there. Explain that to everybody.
Yeah. So that was with my first child. I had two more after that, when I was still in mom land. And I please mean to say there is so much joy and beauty in being a mother, and I never want my story to reflect anything other than that. It's just that for me, I knew that there was more that I needed to be aligned with in order to truly to shine the way I was created to shine. I love Marianne Williamson has this quote that says, like, when we shine, we liberate others to shine as well. And I believe that in each and every person, there is a reason that they were created greater than themselves, that they were specifically designed and made for. And when we don't live in alignment with that, we never truly have that sense of peace and joy and fulfillment in life. So when I'm talking about these pictures and you see a picture of me and my mom, and I talk about being in mom identity, I don't ever mean to insinuate that there is nothing short of beautiful of being a mother. I love being a mother. So just want to clarify that, because I have gotten some people who commented on that there's nothing wrong with it. And you're absolutely right. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, for me, that was only a slice of what I was to do. And as I came in more and more into alignment of why I'm here, I became an even better mother, because I was able to give my kids a mom who was happy, vibrant, full of joy, and empowered, and show that model to them, rather than a mom who was, building her identity around serving her children day in and day out.
Wow. Yeah. No, I definitely understand it. And we definitely don't want to insinuate that it's like being a mom is like horrible. The only thing is that you gain all this unwanted weight. That's the only thing. and it doesn't always go anywhere. I mean, the older you get. Now I remember, when I had my son, when I was around 18, 19, lost that weight, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Then when I was in my 30s and I had my daughter, it was like we wanted to hang around a little longer.
Yeah, I just was not one of those people that dropped weight quickly. It it didn't happen for me. So all my friends around me that were having babies did. And I was like, what's wrong with me? You know, it just didn't happen. Then I got kind of mad, like, darn it, I'm going to have to go work out. They don't have to, but I'm going to have to.
Like, what is going on? What is going on? Oh my goodness. So what was the process? Like, I really need to get into your head. I need people to understand you went from being a non-athletic, although we've heard, I was on a show the other day and we talked about if you do anything kind of like 3 or 4 times a week, then you're technically an athlete because you're conditioning your body. So, but to go from a state of just a sedentary lifestyle, right? Other than chasing little babies around.
Yeah, right.
And from going from a place of, the mom bod, right?
Right.
To the track babe. Like, I mean, what was that transition? What made you say, I think I want to run today? You had a Forrest Gump moment? Like, I think I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. It really is. And here's, if I could empower you with one thing today, it's this whole concept of falling in love with the process. So in other words, if the goal is just to lose weight, so many people just grit their teeth and they put in the work necessary and they pick the salad at dinner and they go to the workouts and they make themselves do it and then maybe get to that final destination. And then what? Like, you didn't fall in love with the process along the way. And so you finally get that weight off, or you finally lose those last 10 pounds. So you hit your goal, but you kind of gritted your teeth the whole way through it. And then what? And so many people if you don't fall in love with the process that it took to get there, you don't have the skills and the conditioning to be able to keep it and maintain that once you hit that goal. So let me just empower you. Like, the most important thing you could probably do, and this, I'm going to circle back to how that worked for me, is to really start to fall in love with the steps necessary to feel healthier, to be healthier, for your body to shed weight. Everything that you do in that process, if you can find joy and satisfaction and growth and pride, be proud of yourself for every little thing along the way, you will always do that habit. You will always do that behavior, and maybe more so. So for me, it started, 2 times a week at boot camp, and I started to love the way I felt at the end of a hard workout. I just felt proud of myself. Like, finally, I had done something to take control of my life, and just kind of fell in love with the progress too. So I would see over the course of, say, the first month, I could see that I was starting to get stronger and I could do more things. And and then I started to go 3 times, and then I started to add in other things because I was starting to enjoy how good it felt. So the more pleasure you can link to the feelings of exercise and movement, the more successful you be, not just in reaching your weight loss goal, but then in maintaining that and seeing what all your body will do for you and develop for you in the process. So humans, we are so motivated by pain and pleasure. So if all you're experiencing during the workout is pain, like, oh my God, this is so hard, and this burns, and when is this over? Oh, there's 15 minutes left, and I have to work out in the morning, and the alarm goes off, and you're irritated. And if the whole journey just has so many different pain points linked to it, then it's like the last thing you want to do is keep working out. But the more pleasure points you can tie into, like, gosh, that feels good to move, or, oh, I feel so energized now, or that was a great workout, I'm so proud of myself, I wanted to quit and I didn't, or I got up at 5 a.m, oh, look at this beautiful sunset. The more things you can positively associate with the little micro steps it takes to reach the goal, the longer you'll be successful and love the process. So the real question is, how can I lose this weight and love the process?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Arnetta, so we have a comment from Arnetta Williams. She says, fall in love with the process. That is a word for a well-rounded lifestyle.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Yeah. So back to your question then, as I started to work out more, At one point, I started to run once a week. And I remember my first run, I think I did 1 mile, and I felt so proud of myself that I had run a mile. And then the next week I would try to go like half a mile more. And then the next week I went half a mile more. And I remember the first time I ran 5 miles, I was just so proud of myself. And again, it's, if you think back to what I'm saying, I didn't realize at the time, but because I was linking so many pleasure points to, like, yes, it was hard to run, and like, yes, it might have been cold out, and maybe I didn't want to, and maybe the kids were all at home and I felt guilty or some of that stuff. But linking so much pleasure to the feeling of growth and accomplishment and pride and allowing myself to feel those good things made me want to keep doing it. And so, just as far as track and field, how that came about is I had a girlfriend that also liked to run, and she challenged me to do a local race. And she said that we were both going to run it together and push a stroller, like a double stroller with our toddlers in it. And then she bailed on me like 2 days before the race. But I decided to do it anyway since I had already registered, and I ended up placing fairly well just for it, that being my first race. It was a 5 mile race. And so then I started thinking, well, gee, you know, if I could do that well just with running 1 or 2 times a week, what would happen if I really tried to go for it? And so then again, linking these feelings of growth and an excitement of like working for something beyond myself, that kind of got me roped into running. And at first I was just doing 5Ks and trying to get faster and faster. And then I got a coach to help train me. And that whole process became really exciting to see, like, you know, my times come down and improvement happen. And then I realized that I didn't like running long distance. Some people love it and that works. But for me, racing longer distances, I just did not enjoy it. I just was doing it at first because it was so much fun to see growth and to see what I could do. Here's another great thing that it's great you guys have Carolyn as kind of like a coach. A coach oftentimes will see more potential in you than you see in yourself. And I know for me, that definitely was true when I first got a coach to start running and to be more competitive in 5Ks. My coach would tell me what times to run my laps in or what times to do my repeats in. And I would say, there's no way I can do that. Like, you really think I can do that? And he would say, yes. And then I would go out and do it, and I would just be amazed. I really didn't think I was physically capable. So it helps in any area of your life where you want to grow. And this doesn't necessarily have to be related to exercise or to running even. But if you have a coach that believes in you, that is so powerful. So I think being in this group is neat because you have each other to to be encouraged by each other's examples of how you're growing, and you have Carolyn here to coach you. But yes, so as I had a coach, he helped me reach better and better times, and then I switched down to doing shorter distances. And in the process of doing that, I found out that you could compete past the age of 30 in track and field in these masters events that went, you know, international and also national, had championships. And so I started to get involved that way. And just, again, one thing led to another. And I realized that the shorter I ran, the faster, the better my times were, and the more I loved it. So I just kind of fell in love with sprinting and have been doing that for the last 5 years now. Wow. Did I lose you, Carolyn? Oh, there you are.
No, wow. Because I know the 400 is a beast.
Yes.
At any age, if you can do it at an older age, that's like,
yeah. But here's something, if I can give you this impart a little bit of love or excitement about exercise. I just totally lost my train of thought, Carolyn. What did you say right before that about the 400?
About the 400 being a beast.
Yes, okay. I know what I want to tell you. That whenever you invest in something, like in any type of physical movement, it always gives you, right now this group is focused on weight loss, and that's excellent, but I'm trying to pull out the fact that we don't want to use and abuse weight loss as a means to an end, meaning I'm only going to do this workout because I know it's going to help me lose weight. Again, that is in all my years of coaching people and helping them lose weight and transform, like, that never works long term. And it actually builds like animosity towards the workouts if you're using them to get to the end. But if you're loving them, and if you can impart some start to understand what the workouts give you back in return besides the weight loss. So one thing about the 400 and the process of training for it that I love is it's given me, I have so much more energy than I did in my 20s, and it helps me feel vibrant and excited, and it's added, muscle tone. It helps me stay lean now that, the weight is off. And it also gave me mental toughness to have to stick out the workouts, and it's given me a sense of pride and accomplishment. So when you look at not just the workout as a means of like, get this done to lose weight, but look at all it's giving me back. Like, look at all the love this workout's giving me back. It's, it's decreasing my depression, it's increasing my energy, and it's helping my heart, and it's helping my lungs, and it's all these amazing things. You can see that workout as a gift to yourself rather than something you have to slog through in order to get these darn last, 20, 30 pounds off.
That is true. I know we talked about in the process of it being part of something that it's like a feeling. You're attaching yourself to a feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling, is the feeling of love. And we've always heard about when people go for, like, when you're tapping into your purpose, right? And it's like, okay, I have to do, find out what my passion is, because when I do what I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
It goes the same thing with this. So you found something that brought you joy. It was an outlet. It was something that was like, wait a minute. And then when you start realizing, wait a minute, I'm kind of really good at this. Like, and I can empathize with that, because when I was going through my transition, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was going from just like not doing anything. Now, mind you, I used to run track eons ago. So I haven't been athletic anything other than sitting watching TV, watching the athletics. That was my own athletics. So, to go from that type of lifestyle of not doing any kind of movement at all, and then to get into, okay, I started off with it for me, and that's what the whole group is about. It's a weight loss challenge, but it's really a lifestyle challenge. So create a different lifestyle for yourself. And so I noticed that and when I tell people what I've done, they're like, how you do that? Because I found a way to tap into something that I enjoyed, and it gave me pleasure. And you're right. It was like the return on my investment was amazing.
Yes.
I had a trainer. And she would tell me all the time, she was like, Ma, her name was Tracy Lopez. Shout out to Tracy Lopez. She would tell me, Ma, you're going to be doing fitness. I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, yes, people want to come to you for fitness. And I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, you're going to be in a bikini soon. I'm like, no, I'm not. I said, bikini who? What? I haven't worn a bathing suit in years. Gosh darn it. Didn't I wear a bikini this summer?
Yeah. Like, remember what I was saying earlier about a coach? Like, your coach believed in you more than you did at that time. Like, she could see it for you, and she helped to hold that vision out there.
She saw it, and I was like, nah. She was like, no, you're going to be doing stuff in fitness. And I was like, she's going to be a translator? No, I'm not. She's like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. I kept denying it. And look what the heck, I got a doggone weight loss challenge.
That's awesome. Yeah.
People from around the world, like, trying to get to a point. And, like I said, I went from, I lost 70 pounds. So in my process, so that was a big leap. That was like, I lost quite a few people. Yeah. But it was more so, like I said, when I start doing stuff with her, it was, the first thing was, okay, I need to get rid of this weight. And I had to find a way, like you said, to find a way to enjoy it. Now, did I like getting up and doing it first thing in the morning? No. Was I tired? Yep. Did I hurt? Absolutely. It was, like you said, the process. And then I had to, you're right, enjoy and fall in love with the process, because I was starting to see that I can only maybe barely touch my knees, but now I can touch my calf. Oh, now I can touch my mid calf. Oh, I can touch my ankle. Oh, I can touch my toe with the tip of my finger, just the tip, nothing more, just the tip, barely. And then it went to, oh, now I can touch it a little bit more. Oh, now I can put my palm down on the floor. So just those little bit of things was like giving me excitement. And going to the gym, and I was only going to the gym once a week with my trainer. So people would think that I was going all the time. I just went that one day and I made it work, because I did stuff all during the week, minor, little minute things, but I made it a routine, and I started to see the results. And once I started to see the results, that's when I fell in love with I really fell in love with the process. And I never went to look for, I never had like an end goal in mind. It was just, I just wanted to be healthier. Like, I just wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to get ahead of range because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself, right? And get disappointed if I didn't meet that mark. So I just said, I have a range. I'm okay. I did leave it kind of in the air, which you really shouldn't do. You're supposed to have a goal in mind, but I did have a goal. My goal was within this range, and I was okay with whatever came with the process. And because I was open to that and I committed to the process, it allowed me to get to that range. And then now I can shift to a new range. So I had many goals, kind of like when you're running, when you have to do your times, you say, okay, I got to hit this mark, when okay, now I got to hit this mark. And now I got to hit that mark, when you're doing your time drills. So it was kind of like doing that, and I had these little time drills for myself, right? In the process, what range I wanted to be in. And that whole time I was going after a feeling. I just said at the end of this portion of this particular journey, because I know this is just one of the stops. I wanted to go after a certain feeling, and I wanted to go after a feeling in my life when I felt like I was on top of the world, when I felt the best. It just happened to be when I was smaller, but not as small, but I was a smaller size. But I wasn't going after the size. I was going after the
feeling. Yeah. And I think everyone in this group probably is going after that. Like, the reason we want to feel amazing. We want to feel confident. We want to feel great in our skin. And at the end of the day, I think that's really, from all the people I've coached with weight loss, that's the common denominator. And so if we can start to allow ourselves to feel that way. Carolyn, you were saying that time in your life that you felt on top of the world and felt unstoppable, you happened to be smaller. You said it happened to be because it's like a coincidence that they were happening at the same time. I think an illusion that a lot of people have is if they lose weight, then they'll feel happy and confident. If they lose weight, then they'll feel good about themselves. But I know a lot of people that reached the goal and then didn't celebrate. They didn't feel better. They didn't celebrate. I think that if you don't, along the process, allow yourself to feel great for the first half pound you lose, or for the first, one clothing size you lose, or for the first 3 days that you get up and work out, if you don't already start to feel great, then you're chasing a feeling that you might not even find at the end of the rainbow, that you're thinking, I'll only allow myself to feel amazing once I weigh this amount or wear this clothing size.
Right.
So I think it's really important to start to dial into as many amazing feelings along the way as possible, and they just fuel you even further.
Right.
One thing we could talk about that's interesting is the scale. I encourage many of my clients not to use a scale. Because say you are feeling amazing, like say you hit 5 workouts that week or even 3, and say you made some great choices with your nutrition and you're feeling more energy, and you look in the mirror and you think, I can see something in my face, and you get on the scale, and all of a sudden you allow the number on that scale to just shatter all of those amazing feelings that you're having. You've given your power away. You've given all the good things that were building in you to start building the joy of this journey, and they're gone. And you might feel pissed for 24 hours, 48 hours. I know clients that have been in tears, so wrecked because of a number on a scale. And I just know, just from my own history and from all the people I've coached, that number is so volatile. It is so relative to salts, carbs, water, hormones, time of the month, whether you're constipated or not. I mean, that number can fluctuate 5 pounds in a couple of days, and it's not pure fat. It's not, there's no way that is humanly possible to put on or to lose that amount of fat in the amounts of times. But with weighing and using the scale and the numbers as your only metrics, you're setting yourself up for failure. And the tricky thing is, it feels good when you see the numbers going down. So it's this addictive thing, because again, we're chasing a feeling. We want to feel good. So we're on that scale every day looking for that reinforcement, but weight loss is not linear. it comes in phases and cycles as the body's just adjusting, its metabolism is burning. So
Mhm.
then you get a week or so where we see the flat line or maybe even go up, and it takes away all that momentum. Poof.
Right.
Done.
We have someone on here, Pinky Racer. She says, "I love the scale."
Pinky, you have to break up with your scale. You have
Well,
a relationship.
It's funny, Angela, because in my group, I tell them it's like it's the relationship. It's the relationship you have with your scale. I tell the people in my group, this is the way I did it. To just look at the scale as a mechanism or apparatus of measurement tool. It's a measurement tool. Just like when you were in math, you had to use that compass. So it's just a measurement tool. It's not going to give you it's not going to validate what you did or didn't do as far as like you feel good or bad. It's just going to help you assess where you're at. So if it went up, then you can look back and go, okay, what was the cause? Was it something within my control? So if I'm constipated, then that's not in my control. I mean, I guess it is. I need to eat more fiber. But right. I mean, but there's certain things that were in your control. Like my example for that was I was simultaneously building muscle, and at the same time, I went a little ham on my treat days. I had a couple days of treats. So, I kind of overindulged in a couple extra sweets this one particular week. And so, of course, the scale, my numbers went up. And after having success for going down, a pound is a pound, right? But then when it goes up a couple pounds, I was like, oh, I said, so I had to think, okay, so what did I do? So I said, okay, well, I did start doing new things using weights. So now I'm probably building muscle, which adds weight. And then I said, oh, and I've had way too many Twinkies and tasty cakes and Edamons this week. So I had to be honest with myself.
It's not rocket science, right?
I had to be honest with myself. So then I said, okay, so let me take away, the easiest thing is to take away the sweet. So let me not go ham with that and see what happens. And the next week, my weight went down by a little bit. It didn't go back where it was, but now I was like, okay, so it was a combination of the reason why I went up so high. It was a combination of muscle and me eating crap to add more fat. So once I eliminated the thing that I could control, which was not eating as many sweets, and normally I wouldn't, but that particular week, I don't know what was going on. I just had to have it. And so I ate it and I was like, oh, okay, that's what happened. And then once I understood that, I'm like, okay. And then everything started to go back on track. So it depends on the relationship that you have with it and not become obsessed with it. I think that's part of the issue where people get on the scale every day because they hit this workout really hard in their mind, even though they hit the workout really hard. And then they went to, because I was one of those, go to the gym, work out real hard, and then go to McDonald's and get, all I did was make room for that. So and then they wonder why it's not going anywhere. So, and then you get disappointed. And I understand that. And then we get on the scale multiple times a day. And we don't like what we see. So it's more so the relationship that we have with the scale. And the scale validates what we're doing and what we're not doing. And we give it, like you said, we give it power. We give it power that it doesn't need to have. And it shouldn't do that. Now, if you're measuring, you still at some time and have to know where you're at. Because that way you know what to adjust, what not to adjust. Just like when you're running, you have to have time drills. So you'll know if I hit, I have to get to the 200 mark by this time. If I don't get there by this time, what else am I doing? Am I going out too hard? Am I not going out hard enough? So you have to use it, but I still do like what you're saying. Like, don't use the scale. I just want them to use the scale once a week or every other week, just something to measure them so where they're at. So that way, everything they're doing, because you don't want it. How disappointing is it if you think you're doing everything right and at the end of the day, you're doing something to harm your process?
Right. Well, I wanted to speak on that because it's possible, just because the nature of of weight loss, it's possible to be doing everything right and not have the scale move that week. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't lose fat. It doesn't really mean anything because, again, there's so many factors involved in what gravitational number, what your the scale is a measure of your your
That's
mass to gravity, right?
right. That's why measure themselves, get on a scale and measure themselves with a tape measure because for inches. Because like I had someone in the group, she said she didn't lose any weight based on the scale, but
Right.
she lost inches because these jeans she bought, she could not fit them prior to the pandemic.
Yes.
Joined the
And I
seven-
will say, to your point, so I weigh probably the same as before I had kids. But I was a size 8 and now I'm a size 4. So weight is so relative is my whole point to that, saying like what do you want to be composed of? Because I definitely was a soft person back then. I wasn't exercising. So even though the scale is the same now at this point in my life than say when I was 20 versus I'm 42 now, the composition and the look is completely different. And so that's why I just like to have people. I understand the importance of it in metrics, but also just not to if it distracts you from from the process, meaning that you did everything that week that you feel good about, like you did work out, you chose foods that gave your body life, and you were feeling good about yourself. It's possible you could get on that scale and still not see a difference, but to still allow yourself to feel proud of the process and everything that those workouts and that healthy food gave you back, rather than to let everything be gone because the scale didn't move a pound in that particular week. People go like
what happened?
0 pounds, 0 pounds, and then their body everybody has a different pattern of how that metabolism burns off fat when it chooses to.
Right, that's true.
So you had mentioned one thing I could touch on, and this is going a little deeper. You had mentioned a relationship with the scale. Well, and I just want to mention a relationship with yourself. Meaning, I'm a big believer that the way you treat your body or see your body from the inside is what manifests on the outside. So if you have areas of pain or feeling that feeling at times stress or a need for love or a need for nurture, a need for care, and we're finding that in food, then what we're feeling in here is manifesting into behaviors that are then manifesting on the outside of our bodies. So a lot of times, like we're talking here about exercise and diet and weighing ourselves and goals and those sorts of things. Those are more peripheral, but a lot of times people that I find that have gained significant amounts of weight and then need to lose it actually are not really friends with themselves. So I'm going to go a little deeper here with this and say that I've helped people to become friends with their body, meaning a lot of people are frustrated with their body. They feel like something's wrong with it. Like, why won't it lose weight? Why does everybody else lose weight and mine don't? Like, you're enemies with your body and that it needs to be punished and disciplined and deprived of food and forced to do workouts and this. And you have this feeling of angst within yourself, meaning that it's your body. You're telling your body over and over, you're not good enough for me. I don't appreciate you. And you're saying it. A lot of people say way meaner things than that in their heads. I don't know if any of you are guilty of talking really mean about yourself to yourself or saying things to your body that you would never say to your friend's body, or even hating on it. And we're having that level of angst inside of ourselves towards our very own body and then expecting it to perform for us, meaning, come on, lose the weight. Come on, get through this workout. Do this, do that. And we're not really even friends with ourselves. And so a lot of what I like to do with people is to help them to be like, how can you be a better friend to your own body? Like, when's the last time you thanked it and told it that it was amazing, no matter what the scale is, meaning that it allowed you to maybe bear children. It allowed you to experience love. It allowed you to maybe have some beautiful moments in your life. And it carries you through the day and it takes on stress and it does so much for you. Like, and one thing I love to see is people have a better relationship with their own bodies and to just thank it and love it and nurture it and want to take good care of it and maybe even apologize to their bodies or ask forgiveness for times that they hated on it, spoke to it with anger or with mean, hateful words. or deprived it of food, or overfed it with really toxic food, or refused to give it exercise, or then maybe over-exercised it. These are all things that would be like not a very loving and good relationship with one's own body. So I know I'm going a little deeper here, but I think at the heart of this all, can we just center back to like how much love are we giving ourselves in this process of losing weight? How much appreciation are we kicking off to all the members of our bodies, even the ones we find difficult to accept and love about ourselves? If you don't like your butt, can you just appreciate how strong your glutes are? Or if you don't like if you don't like your stomach, can you appreciate, maybe it carried children for you, or, maybe there's different ways that it has performed and blessed you and served you. So I love to see people cultivate not just a better relationship with a scale, meaning taking away its power and its ability to affect how you feel, but also just becoming friends with their own bodies and understanding that if they give that body love, nurture, and all the right environment, it will gladly work for you. It will gladly shed weight. It will gladly do as you ask. You just have to be nice to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So I'm so see, and this is why I needed you here today, because I needed for people to hear that, because it definitely is being in love with yourself, being in love with first and foremost, because that way it kind of coincides with, your outside needs to match your inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what we're experiencing right now, at least in my opinion, just my opinion. So and I could just say this because I was a victim of this, right? Of wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing a mask so that way on the outside, everything looked fine, everything looked pristine, everything was wonderful, right? And when people saw me, they saw like, oh, wow, like, well, she got it together. Like, okay, but my insides were, they were just all they didn't match. It just was such a disconnect. So, but I was able to go through the world with this mask on and just do it. Now, of course, now it's the other way around. Now my insides are just like beaming like a light. And it's like, I need my shades on half the doggone time. And now my outside actually, it coincides and it matches.
They're in alignment now.
I'm in alignment. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So but what's happening is because a lot of individuals have been walking around with a mask. And so what COVID has done, it has shed and ripped the mask right off of their face. Where now their outside completely matches their inside. Now we've been given permission to go outside with a mask now, right? But even with that, you notice people still aren't stepping up their A game because I just got to wear this mask. So unless there's an event or something to go through, which we don't have that much of that because everything is pretty much shut down. But, to go to the supermarket, wherever we're going, just going out and about, we'll just throw on our jeans or throw on a sweatshirt. And, so now there's this level of, okay, not really putting everything best forward because I got to wear this mask anyway. So now everyone's outside is truly matching their inside. Their inside may not feel that great. And guess what? Their outside is not feeling that great either. So that's what we're dealing with right now. People, and I don't think people understand or realize that's what's happening, because this is becoming we're becoming complacent with this, and it's becoming our new norm, the new norm that's been given to us. So, and it's so funny because I had someone ask me, says, you get dressed up to do your lives? I said, absolutely, sure do. Absolutely sure do. It gives me a reason. That's right. So not going to mention what I look like from the waist down, but that's a different story.
You have sweatpants on, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I was like, wait a minute. I do have a sweatpants. The other day, I had on pajamas.
At least you're not in your underwear, though. Okay.
No, not in my underwear. No, not in my underwear. So Arnetta says, thank you, Arnetta, for chiming in. If anybody has any comments or questions, please filter it through while we have this. I mean, she's a wealth of knowledge right here. Definitely a wealth of knowledge. So Arnetta says, that's powerful. Love your body. I'm trying to read exactly what she said. That's powerful. Love your body for its other way unique purpose. Oh, for his other, yeah, I need my glasses on. What she said? Okay.
She said how it heals, how it gives birth, how it wakes up.
How it heals, give birth, fight off illness.
Yes.
I love that. Well said.
Yes.
It got to the point I was like, I can't see this anymore. It's too tiny. And then she's, oh, give birth. It was a typo. Give birth. We got you. Give burn. Yeah. Like, I got you. But definitely, especially for women. I mean, we do. Our body goes through a lot of transitions. Like, for instance, I put on a bikini this summer. Now, granted, my body don't look like I haven't been running a 400. but it darn sure didn't look like what it did before. So I put it on, and I put it on with no problem whatsoever. And I said, you know what? I know the next time I put one on, it'll be even better. But I had to be in love with. I worked hard, and I would never have thought that I would have even considered it. My trainer said, "Oh, you got to win." I'm like, yeah, right. Because if I can show you the picture of me, I mean, it was to the point where when we went to Punta Cana back in 2018, I didn't even pack a bathing suit because I was like, no, I'm looking like an Oompa Loompa. I'm not going to be a whale and come on the beach looking like a whale. So I just wore sundresses, and I got in the water with a sundress because I was ashamed of how I looked. I wasn't happy with how I looked. Yeah. I was a happy individual-ish, but I wasn't, happy with my body. And it wasn't until, like we talked about before with this being in alignment, I had those same questions, like things don't match and things. And I worked on other things as far as with my, spirituality, my mindset, my purpose, my passion, all of those things, mind and spirit. And I neglected body. And everything that I was promoting, watch this, was mind, body, and spirit. And I'm like, Carolyn,
we have an issue.
Like, you said we have a problem.
Right.
So I really had to, I said, you know what? I have to get this thing in check because I'm not in alignment. Now, granted, my spiritually, I believed I was, had things in check. Mentally, believed I had things in check. Clearly, if I was able to get to that point. But I was like, but dang, how much more is there once my body is in alignment? Because my body's off. It's just off, awfully off. Like, I'm gonna see if I can show you guys a picture. And I keep loving her picture. I love her picture. It's just like so amazing. So especially coming from, because like the picture on the right, I mean, she looks like it's like you reversed age. I mean,
yes, yeah.
It looks like you went back in time. Like, I mean, what is going on? Like, you look like you're 25 on the right hand side.
I know. I feel like I am. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? And you know what? And same thing. I can say the same thing for me too. So I'm gonna skip that. That's one of the other individuals in our group. But look this is me. So this was. I know, right? Wow. That was me last year.
Wow.
And all the time before that. And I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, mind you, that picture, I would never have taken that picture of myself, but someone took it and tagged me in it. And I was like, ugh. But I'm glad that they did, because it really allowed me to see, like, okay, I knew that shirt was too small, but I was like, I packed it. I was out of town, and gosh darn it, I'm wearing it. And I'm going to strut in these heels, even though they hurt my feet, and I won't be able to walk for 5 more days. And I'm going to just wear this, and I'm going to be confident in it, even though I really don't feel that confident. And then I started my transition in November, and then within a month, I looked like what was on the right. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually losing weight after I took off all the baggy clothes. I was like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. My stomach is going away a little bit, little by little.
Yeah.
I started feeling like you said, I had more energy. I started feeling stronger. And now it's like, this is me now. Like,
wow.
Exactly. And this is what I tell people. It's like, it's part of the journey, right? It's like you're losing weight on your journey. And it's not, it's not the pounds. It's really not just the pounds that you're losing. It's burdens. It's the burdens that come along with pounds. So like my pound came with stuff, so I'm pretty sure somebody else's pounds come with stuff. So mine came with, okay, yes, I had kids. So I had the mom bod, but yeah, what was my excuse? My daughter was like 16. So yeah. I was like, it was like, really? I said, yeah. How old is she? I'm like, oh, she's 16.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but she did this. But she didn't do it. I was just using it as an excuse because
Right.
I didn't want to face that I had allowed myself to just let go.
Right.
When
Right.
stress hit me, I
Right.
let go. When I overate, I
Right.
let go. I got depressed. I let go. I had, I was on medication. Some things were out of my control and others were. And that was just the result. And I got comfortable in that space, but I didn't like being in that space.
Right.
So, because I have women, so I want you to speak to, because you have this book, and I want to, you have this book, Living Younger. And when you're in this space of now you're ready to just love your body, no matter how it is, and you're just going to love the process and enjoy this process. I want you to speak to the women in my group and whoever else is watching from wherever, that this may resonate to them, because I'm going to let you know, Angela, the average weight in the group, average that people want to lose is over 50 pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
The average time that it's been on over 20 years, 30 years, too long.
Right.
I mean, that was some of the answers, too long. And ones who wouldn't even answer the questions because they can't even come to reality. They know they want to lose it, but something has to shift in order to get started. So what words of advice could you give to them to elevate themselves to that new level in that journey?
As far as someone that has over 20 years and over 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So takeaways I would say is to, I'll just touch on this real briefly. Whenever we start something like this, there's two roots. If you think about two trees that have a whole root system underneath. The one root is I'm not enough, meaning I need to lose weight because I'm not attractive enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not fit enough. And I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not enough. And it comes out of a kind of a fear base. And the fruit that comes out of that is never lasting and it's never good. And it doesn't feel good in the process. When we work from a sense of not being enough, it causes us to abuse the body, and to be mean to it. Like I was saying earlier, we're not coming from a place of love. The other tree is a tree of love, meaning I am going to do this because I want to care for myself in the way that I deserve to be cared for. And that feels so good. And every time you do something, on the other side, it's a punishment for not being enough, or it's a consequence for not being enough. We have to do this to force ourselves to be better. When we're doing it because of love and truly wanting to care and nurture for ourselves in the way that we haven't for the last 20 years, we're making our choices because we want to do that for ourselves. And there's no sense of punishment or deprivation or private. It's kind of maybe the joy you had taking care of your child. It felt good to give them a meal. It felt good to maybe watch them play a sport or take them to their practice. We liked doing those things because we knew we were taking care of them and helping them to be healthy. It's flipping that onto yourself and being such a great friend and caretaker of yourself. So I would encourage you, first of all, to examine the feelings behind why you're doing all this, why you're wanting to embark on this journey. And can it be about, I want to love myself in a better way than I ever had. I want to be friends with my body. I want to just really nurture it, care for it this time. So I would say from the get-go, let's change the root from that of being not enough to being truly loving and caring and good friends to our body. And then the second key thing, if we're going to go from there, is to start to build into loving the process. How many things in the process of losing weight can you do that you just truly start to enjoy? Maybe it's a Zumba class, or maybe you really start to love lifting weights because you feel so strong and it feels good to pick up that heavy stuff. Or maybe you start to love running because you feel free and you feel the wind in your face. And whatever it is that you're doing, to start to really notice how much you enjoy it and how much you love it, and even turn it into a challenge for yourself. Humans have this innate desire in them to grow. When we're not growing, we're dead. And anywhere in nature, you say that we're either growing or we're dying. And so if you can attach kind of that primal innate need in us to grow, and I heard Carolyn say this too, it was fun for her to see the growth in the process. And for me, that's how it started too. It was just so fun to see growth. So if you can attach any sense of growth and enjoying that, regardless of what the scale says, regardless of the weight loss, like seeing how much you're loving the process and growing as a person and physically, all the growth that's happening in your body as far as strength and fitness and stamina and health and energy and all that great stuff, the more good feelings you can build into the process, the better. So one, start from a tree, the root of love, and two, just tie as much enjoyment into the process as possible, feeling growth, feeling pride, those sorts of things. And then, that consistency is a huge part of it. You can lose weight for 3 months and then gain it all back. So the consistency always wins of doing the small little things over time, over and over, and starting to like them and become habits. That consistency always wins every time. But again, if you're loving it, if you're starting to find enjoyment in it and feeling proud of yourself and seeing growth, you're going to be consistent because it's a self-rewarding cycle, and you're going to feel so good every time you do a workout and every time you do make a better choice with what you're eating and anytime you give yourself love and nurture.
I love how you lit up every time you described it, because that's the energy that should go into it, because it's something that you just innately love. Like it got to a point where I actually loved going to the gym. I was like, okay, I looked forward to that one day to go to the gym because I knew my trainer was going to have me do something that I know I really didn't want to do, but I wanted to challenge myself, because that was that inner, I don't know, that I guess that inner athlete in me kind of like, I could do this. Like,
it's a challenge.
Like I was doing TRX stuff. I was, whoa. It was, to the point, it got a little, well, they going now. They need to
look at that.
They a little soft now, but they were a little bigger before. They were a little bigger before. I got to start doing some more stuff. But I was so proud of, like, my body was starting to respond and react to what I was doing, because I was giving it love. I was giving it nurture. I was feeding it. I was fueling it. And it was mind, body, and spirit. So I was doing things for my body to move. I was doing things for my mind. Like I was doing, morning meditations. I was saying my prayers. I was, watching what I was eating. I was making better decisions, except for that one week that I kind of went ham, but that's okay. Because sometimes you're entitled to it, but I did it in a way where I wasn't going to deplete myself. And I did not look at it in terms of a diet, because the way I say, and I'm going to cash this one in, because I'm going to have to copyright this one, and trademark it. A diet will die unless you do it to the T. But if you just shifting how I'm looking at it, like, I didn't look at it as a diet. I didn't look at it as, okay, I just got to lose weight. I looked at it as, no, I need to change my lifestyle. So my lifestyle encompassed all of those things. And because I loved me, which goes back to what you were saying, Angela, because I loved me and I loved all the things about me. And now it was time to just love this process, because this process was for me. Like, oh my God. So it's like, this is actually fun. Like, I'm actually enjoying this and enjoying seeing progress, little milestones, just watching my clothes. Like, wait a minute, they're too big now?
Yeah.
Wow. So that was my, like, oh, this is working. Until one day I just looked in the mirror and said, oh, hi, where you been? I haven't seen you in a while. That's literally what happens. So we are at the hour mark, and I don't want to. We can go on and on and on and on.
I know, we're just getting started.
I know, we're really just getting started. So I don't know. Let me see. I see Deborah Davis. She's all the way up in New York, near New York. She's North Jersey. She said good evening to us. Arnetta gave us some hearts and some hand claps, I guess. I can't see. I need my glasses on. Oh, and Pinky just laughed at me from
Yeah, Pinky's the one that's going to break up with her scale, right,
she's
Pinky?
gonna break up with a scale. No,
You
she
have
said she
a
loves her
tough
scale.
conversation with that scale.
I know, I know, I know, I know. So thank you guys for your comments. So let's see. So Pinky said she loves. Okay. So here she goes. She gave us great advice. She absolutely loved this. Love and nurture your body. Yeah. So and Pinky, I will shout her out. She's in the group and she's making some milestones. She actually was one of the persons who had a hate relationship with her scale because she didn't put batteries in her scale. So now she put batteries in her scale. So now she's holding herself more accountable. And I think to date, I think she said she's lost about almost close to 5 pounds or something to that. Is something to that.
That's
So
great.
I mean, it's a milestone. And like I told everyone in the group, I said a milestone is a milestone. A milestone doesn't it can be you lost a pound. A milestone can be, oh my gosh, I drank 4 bottles of water today. A milestone can be I can zip my pants up that I couldn't, zip up like 3 months ago. A milestone could be I woke up the same time every day this week. Like anything is a milestone. Anything.
Yeah, that's the feeling of growth I was talking about. That's so important to look for. Yeah, and to celebrate.
Because we look at this bigger picture, like we look at you now and go, okay, I want to get like that now. They look at me now and say, okay, I want to be like that now. And I'm like,
yes, like we idolize the outcome so much that we love that outcome and fantasize about it and want it so bad that we forget like to love all the little parts getting there. You're right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I am echoing. I don't know why I'm echoing. I must have something else open that I don't know I have open. But I am just so excited that you were able to join us this evening.
Yes, great conversation.
To my community, to my tribe, to my village, and they're seeing some results. So Pinky says 40 pounds this year.
Hey, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
So, hey, I mean, milestones are milestones, and and the thing we have to look at it in terms of it didn't come on overnight, so it's not going to go off overnight. It's going to creep, but just like it crept up on you because you were just like, oh, okay, because I can tell you, I never really got on a scale either,
right.
But I can tell I was getting larger. I can say I was getting fat because I had to agree that I was getting fat for myself. And my clothes were fitting differently. And then I adjusted the way I was dressing so it didn't look as bad, except for that one picture where I was totally in denial and I just thought I can pull it off. And then when I looked at it, I was like, this ain't working, but I was already away and I was stuck with it. So I couldn't change a shirt because I didn't realize I had got that big. I was stuck. I was like, crap. And getting to that point of, well, it is what it is. And then there's nothing you can do about it, but there absolutely is something you can do about it. And the choice starts with you. The choice starts with, like you said, loving you and loving your body, loving every ounce of it as it is. And not, and I had to get to that point where I loved where I was, where I didn't for a while. And I had to get to the place that, you know what, I love my body as it is right now. I know why it's like this. And I know what I need to do in order for it to get to where I need it to be. And that was the beginning of the journey and the process. And I didn't focus on it. Like I said, I didn't focus on the weight. I didn't focus on the scale. I just used, I just went along the process. And like I said, I went into this process mode. So, okay, so this is what I got to do every Friday. Weigh myself, measure myself, and just write it down, and that's it. And don't, just weigh it, write it, keep going. And just focus on, okay, when I go to the market, make sure I'm buying all the good stuff on the perimeter of the supermarket and stay out of the aisle, so I had to go through that process, as well, get more fresh vegetables, get more, eat more protein, eat but I didn't eat cauliflower, eat Brussels sprouts. And you know what? I didn't like them, but then I learned to love them because I knew what it was going to do for me.
Right. Or was giving it you back in return. It
It
was
was,
giving you love back. Yeah.
yep, it was giving me that love back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I learned to love Brussels sprouts. Yes. I learned to love them. So, well, once again, thank you so much. I don't know if
You're
anyone else
welcome.
has a question. You can give her a comment or question, some hearts, some likes, all that good stuff. But and you can always watch it on the replay. We'll be on my YouTube channel and on Facebook on Magnify Your Essence. So if you want to join the Fierce and Fearless weight loss challenge, you still come. We're in our 30-day challenge. We're on week 3. It doesn't matter. Your day 1 starts the day you start, and we're there to support you. And we have people like Angela just come pop in and just want to share and give their knowledge to help you on your journey to enjoy the process. And because I'm pretty sure this is probably how her journey started. I had people say to me, this is how the group got started, to be quite honest. People saw my transformation and they were like, how did you do it? How did you do it? What did you do? What did you do? How did you do it? And it got overwhelming because we met in the Tony Robbins group. So that was one of the places that I posted my before and after, and it went crazy, probably like yours did too. And I'm like, this is way too much. So, and with friends asking me and people asking me, so I said, no, I'm just going to create a group, and whoever shows up, shows up. And people showed up, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess we got a group now. Okay, so here, let's give you some stuff. And but I love it. I love it. And I love watching other people get excited when they start to see something, they see some kind of, something different. Like I had one individual who was in the group, and we're going to feature her on Friday. And she talked about, going up and down, yo-yoing back and forth, with diets and just losing weight and just setting your mind. And like you talked about the consistency, you can get to a certain point and then you reach it. And then it's like, okay, I'm good. And then you go back to where you were or your habits, right? You lose that consistency, you lose that love, and it turns into something else. I call it the feel of myself. That's when we just like, oh, okay, I feel like I could wear this now, I could wear that now, right? And then we lose the other steps that we did, and we should still do them in moderation, but it should become a lifestyle. And then, she recognized that she went back to where she was, and what that does to ourselves. And I think you touched on it too, Angela, that it messes with our psyche. Like when you look at the scale and you're looking at it, and you become shameful, and now you become more depressed, and now you don't even have that zest and that zeal to even want to attempt to lose the weight again because it just broke your spirit. And and then it was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get in this group, and she's seeing some results just by being in the group of a whole bunch of like-minded individuals, everyone after the same goal. And like I told everyone, because I did with my water, we're supposed to drink, 64 ounces of water a day. So a couple years ago, I did a 30-day water challenge. And it was to drink. And I had to break it down. But I like breaking things down in small, palatable chunks. Because if things too largely, it gets overwhelming. So I said, okay, 64 ounces. How can we break that down? How can I make this easier? Oh, it's a bottle of water. So that's 16 ounces. Okay, just drink 4 of them. That's it.
Yeah.
Or just get the same one and refill it up. Like just drink that 4 times. And that's your water consumption for the day. And when she's like, oh my God. She was like, this is the first time I ever drank 64 ounces of water. And just that little, just shifting that one little thing. And I think Pinky was part of that last time before. When we did the water show, we were drinking water like crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this was that simple. That simple. And then people were losing weight just because now they were flushing out excess weight.
Right.
They were starting to feel a little better just from water. So little things, little milestones, little milestones. So Arnetta says, Tanisha says hello. And Arnetta says she's glad that she popped in. We're glad that she popped in too. So yeah, this has been great. So I don't know if you have any final last words, and then we're gonna let you go for this evening. So I'm gonna let you have the screen so you can say anything you want to tell everybody.
Now I'll just sum up by just reinforcing to love the process. How can I lose weight and love the process? How can I be the best version of myself and love the process? And give love to yourself along the way in the form of feeling proud, seeing growth, giving thanks to your body, and feeling good about every step that you take, every little action that you take. And the great thing about this is you can take little actions all day long that make you feel great. So anytime you make a choice of a food that's going to give you back life versus put toxins in you, or anytime you drink water, or anytime you exercise, or anytime that you do anything that is promoting you towards this better version of yourself, to let yourself feel love and appreciation and proud of yourself for that. Those would be my two takeaways for the journey.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now, how can individuals reach you if they want to reach you?
So I'm on Instagram, Angela Meyer 67, and that's where I post more things about track and field, and I always tie a little life lesson in there. But on Facebook, I will put videos out a couple times a week, just like little tips of kind of managing your mindset, and ways to think about life that's more empowering and that fosters, again, a greater connection, vibrance emotionally, spiritually, mentally, that sort of thing. So you can find me on Facebook, Angela Myers. My picture is a little icon of somebody in the middle of a sprint, so you'll see me wearing my tracksuit. Yeah.
Awesome. I know.
Ways to find me.
That was like, wow, wow, wow. So yeah, Pinky says yes, she's all in for the water. So once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if any of you want to, and Angela, you're more than welcome to pop into the group, the Facebook group. Pop in, join us. We would love to have you to pop in some of those motivational things just to get us going. Everybody that would love to join this growing community of just a few and many. I'm just one person, but hey, someone has to start it somewhere.
Exactly.
So Fierce and Fearless Weight Loss Challenge is on Facebook. If you can't find it, you just go to Bitly. That's if you don't anybody know about the Bitly links, but Bitly/fearless, fear not. And we have a slogan said fearless until you fear not. That's our slogan. So I just love it that you were able to join us this evening.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
You're quite welcome. So just hang tight backstage. I'm going to close this out, then I'm going to come back to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. So for you guys who stayed with us tonight and who's watching us on a replay, thank you so much for joining me this evening with my amazing, beautiful guest, Angela Myers. I hope that you learned something this evening, learn to, embrace the journey, enjoy and love every part of the journey, and most importantly, love yourself in the journey. All right, this is Girl Carolyn. I'll see you guys later. You know what I always tell you, be empowered, be inspired, and most importantly, be magnified. Take care, you guys. Bye.